Very straightforward.
Talk about the red pill community as well. One experience, well, it's not even one. There were a myriad of things that led me to a place where I could relate so much to the ideology that the red pill community has. And much of it does come from dating app experiences, just talking to women, listening to their worldview as it relates to dating and family, the family structure, the roles of the family. It was just crazy. Some of the challenges that I found were challenges that, as we would have mentioned earlier, that comes from the women's rights movement and women wanting to find traditional men, but at the same time they wanted to be able to have equal rights, being able to work the same amount but keeping their money and having the guy spending his. I still don't understand that mindset. I don't know how that works, but just how unrealistic the expectations are that comes from the women that I've been meeting on the dating app. And I'm not saying that it's every woman, because of course,
just from your
you're my wife, and I never experienced
we never met that. We never met on a dating app.
Exactly. So a lot of the women that I've met on dating apps, the unrealistic expectations from men, the bars are set so high to the point where almost no guy is able to reach those standards, except for the 1% of quote unquote
high value men.
So those are some of the experiences that I had where, it just made me relate so closely to the red pill community to the point where I was saying, I remember one time I used to watch like Fresh and Fit podcasts as well. Of course, I used to listen to the GOAT, Kevin Samuel, the Andrew Tate, the GOAT again. The things they were saying, you could clearly see those things explicitly from women, at least the ones that I was interacting with, as well as you would hear it coming from their mouths. So that this is not something that you're just seeing on social media. You are also experiencing it firsthand.
In real life.
In real life. So it brings you to a place where you're like, damn.
Is anybody real out here? Does anyone want a genuine relationship? Does anyone want to build together?
Yeah, remember days when my daddy and me said, boy, pretty out there. Pretty out there at all. It's not pretty out there. Because it's almost like every woman you meet is the same North American mindset that is so brainwashed against men, and men are this, and the toxic masculinity and psychological terms. We made mention of it earlier, but we didn't really touch into it. The psychological terms that are just loosely being thrown around, some people actually experience them in their relationship. I was in a relationship that, honestly, they said women are delusional, but boy, I did delusional.
Right.
And they said love is blind, but love no blind. Love is not blind. People find themselves in a place where they're in love with an individual so much to the point where they themselves can become delusional.
Is it the person or the idea of what they can bring to your life?
It's the person themselves, Call it desperation, some people being desperate for love, or call it just let's say that, a lot of people find themselves in love, but sometimes you fall in love with the wrong people, people who seek to do more harm to you, tear you down, like your situation. And what happened is that a lot of times we see the red flags. We see red flag, white flag, pink flag, every flag. And we still say, boy,
you're trying to delude yourself into thinking that it's a green flag. It's not.
Say, yeah. So I had experiences like talk about the psychological term, the gaslighting, you know.
Narcissistic.
Narcissistic. And mind you, there are people who actually experience these psychological mental abuse. But there are individuals like the case that I was in, where the person who was actually the gaslighter, the person who was actually the manipulator, was saying, hey, you are manipulating me. And let me tell you my experience, why I was called a manipulator. A lot of women come to this culture and they quickly buy into the Western ideology. They want the male best friend. What? Fire!
While still having you as the man.
They want the male best friend while still having their romantic partner of the opposite sex. You know, they want to dress provocatively. And you know what's crazy? A lot of people never dress provocatively until they come to this country.
True. Me never bought ears until me reach a foreign.
Suzanne. Me
never wear shorts and spaghetti strap until me reach a foreign.
There's a lot of things that people wouldn't wear in their own culture because culturally it's just, you get side eyes.
Yeah. But it's like here, your inhibition is just, it just goes through the door. It's like as soon as you pass.
It's normalized.
It's normalized.
It's normalized. Like even, I remember the first time I went to Canada. I saw a little girl coming home from school. High school, you know, probably high school or kidnapped.
Can't be kindergarten.
Hopefully not. But I saw a little girl coming home from school and she was, half her bottom cheeks was outside the shorts. I was like, what, is this normal? You know, in Jamaica, your frack off there weirder than your toenail.
I don't need to brush your knee, then say too.
All when it brush your brush knee, all when it touch your ankle, they must say your dress is too short.
Too short.
You know? But here, I went to Canada and students, they were dressing very provocatively.
Nakedness is normalized.
You know, nakedness is normalized in this culture. And so you have a lot of women, even if they're from a different culture, they come to America and they just want to be a part of the culture. They want to fit in. They want to get accepted. Everything. So here, me manipulative now. I am with this young lady and she wanted to dress provocatively while being with me.
No, sir.
Not under my dead body.
Not in my cabinet.
Not in my cabinet. You understand? So I said, no.
Okay.
I said to her, the day you sat, listen, there's one thing about me. I always say one thing about me, and that's true. I always put down my values, my morals that I want in my relationship. So when I'm going to date a woman, intentionally dating her with the hopes of getting married, these are some things that I like. Here.
You spell them out.
Right. And she said to me, these are some things that I like. Me look on our list, me say, all right, I can work with this. If I cannot work with it, I cannot work with it.
You're caught.
I willfully decline, right? Some women will want to be with a guy just because of the image. It's all about the image. And that's what I got from that young lady. It was just about the image. So she accepted my criteria. And then as soon as she felt comfortable, she wanted to go to the clubs with friends, dressing provocatively. So I said, no. So when I placed my foot down and said, listen, you have to either choose the short clothes, the provocative clothes, the going to club with the friends and the male best friend.
And the male best friend.
And move forward with that. But I'm not going to be a part of it. A lot of times, in reality, women, let me not say women because I don't want to generalize. Most women don't like to be told by their man not to do certain things. As the statement is always been said, and we hear it and pop the balloon and find love. Let women be women.
Yeah.
Women are not capable. Some women are not capable to take constructive criticism and use it as a building block. Use it as something that they can learn from, grow from, develop. And I realized with her that for me saying to her that, listen, you're in a relationship. When you decided to come into this relationship with me, these were some things that
were already outlined.
Yeah, I already outlined them. You said you were going to put them behind you. So nobody come tell me, say, you want to come and be with me and expect that I'm going to be the guy who is going to sit down and say, yeah, you can go to the club with your friends. You can wear your provocative things. So I was seen as being controlling or manipulative, you know. And that is how in relationships these words are just loosely thrown around sometimes. And you talk about the gaslighting. Hey,
you go through it.
You see, if you get a text, see it's a boom and you get the text and you read the text. And she will be there, you know, texting somebody else, you know. But I'm the delusional still. Me take 1 for the team.
God have mercy upon us.
I took one for the team.
Oh my God.
You know? And if the text come in from your phone and you look on it, and even when it's your best friend text you, and you see her a text and a laugh and a smile and you say, what are you talking about? Who are you texting? You know? And mind you, you know, talk about the best friends. Half of these best friends you don't know, you know? You know? And these are the stories that you're often told. Oh, I don't like him. I wouldn't even date him. And best believe that as the relationship done,
the best friend again.
And the best friend, and she gone on vacation. You know, so go back to these ideologies where women want to see men as being insecure because you value yourself so much to say to a woman, no, I'm not going to allow you to dress provocatively. I am not.
I do not appreciate it, and I hope that you value yourself enough to not do that.
Yeah, let's not say allow, but
because that sounds a little bit controlling. But my God, you should have values enough to know. Yeah. I don't like that, and I would hope that you value yourself enough not to like that stuff either.
And the reality is, you can. So it's not to say that I'm not going to allow you to dress provocatively. I'm just not going to put up with it.
Exactly.
That's what I need to say.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit by and watch you dressing provocatively and you just think
just let it slide. It's okay. Something normal.
Or if I don't accept it, I'm being insecure.
And you know the funny thing is, women have this thing where, and I've seen it on social media a lot of women joke about it. When you're dating, hot like a 10 fire sign, right? It's like they're literally baiting you in with the looks. Yeah. And you see, as soon as you're in a relationship, it toned down.
Yeah.
And then it toned down, and then it toned down, and then toned down until you're like, yo, is this my grandma?
Yeah.
Is this my grandma?
I don't.
And I'm just like, yeah. It should be the other way around. Not that you should dress like woman. You must be modestly dressed, right? And still look sexy. Like Arlette, I'm pop the balloon. My God. Me feel say some of the man them go there just to see her. But I'm finish now. I'm finish now.
Right, go on.
Arlette looks modest, but she looks very attractive. Yes, you can imagine when a woman like that go in and she start dress sexy for your man.
Yeah.
You can still pull a man in without having your ass cheeks out. Right? And the way you're dressing to get him, don't start dress like old man when you get him.
You should start dress sexier.
That's right.
So if you used to wear 2-piece when you did a date, now you feel wear 1-piece.
1-piece.
Shazam!
Understand me?
Or 0-piece.
Yeah, or no piece at all.
No piece.
So of course I support that. But that was one experience that I had. When I tell you, say, boy, when I left the relationship there, me almost say, Father God, and my best friend usually joke about this thing. So say, yo, hey, God couldn't make we a different species, like the elf woman them we find in animes, where we couldn't go talk to apart from the earth woman. Yeah.
Oh my God.
You know, because you see these things and And mind you, these are things that good men are facing. Because if you're out there, well, let me just say what I'm saying in English so the people them can understand. If you are out there just gallivanting and having fun and doing hookups, you really don't care.
Yeah.
It's whatever.
It's whatever.
But good men who are actually looking for genuine, deep connections, these are the things that we face on a day-to-day basis. And it's not just with one woman or two, it's with many different women. So it makes dating difficult. And of course, with what I've experienced, I was leaning towards the red pill community a lot. But I'm going to say something very important. It came to a point, and thank God for my Christian values, it came to a point where I had to realize, thinking about women like you, you know, that I've dated. And of course, in Jamaica, I've dated good, strong, solid women, you know. So thinking about those things, I came to a point where I said to myself that, you know what, I cannot allow what one woman has done to me to bring me to a point where I completely give up.
That's right.
On the myriads of women who are here.
Yes.
The truth is, good women are here. Are they a lot? There are not a lot of them. Me find one. You know, so me don't know how much left, but boy, God bless on a soul. if you guys have not found yourself a good woman yet, I'll be praying. But good women exist. Yeah. And oftentimes, sometimes people go through these negative experiences that so negatively impact your life psychologically. And, you know, I remember they used to use this thing on Fresh and Fit. Emotional damage. But man, out here, emotionally damaged by women, you know. And we talk about the time when you had called me down to do that podcast. You wanted to do that podcast interview, and I told you I wasn't in a good mental space because I was literally going through it. Yeah, you know. So men go through them something at all. Yeah. But the man them were out the road, I do them thing, and I have Francis, Anne-Marie, and Sharon. You know, these men are not necessarily going through these kind of things because they're just playing the game. But good men who want genuine love, we go through these things.